And then, folks, got another video for you. This time a little unboxing, flip through, and discussion on Starfleet Battles, Captain's Edition. Now, I was rooting around in my attic, as I do, and I found this bad boy. And I really enjoyed this back in the day. And this box set, I believe I got in '94. Actually, I think I used to write down on the inside of the box, or somewhere in here, when I actually got this. It looks like 1994, so this is right around that time. That's what this edition is from. And I believe it's since been updated since then. I believe the current Captain's Edition basic set is 2005, I think. And of course there's the full rules manual, which I think is at a 2012 recent update, which is all the rules from the system all put together. But this box set has been around quite a while. This is the Captain's Edition basic set, and this is generally where everybody used to start when they're first getting into Starfleet Battles. And if you don't know what Starfleet Battles is, it was originally put out by Task Force Games, and the system is basically Star Trek from the original series. The setting is Star Trek from the original series. We're talking about Captain Kirk and Spock. It's not any stuff from the movies or from the television series that followed on, like Deep Space Nine and so on and so forth. This is from the original TV series, and this is what we're dealing with here. So if you can imagine Klingons looking like they did back in Captain Kirk's era, that's what these Klingons are. Not like the ones you remember, like Worf and all that stuff. A little different, but it is what it is. And it's probably my favorite representation of Star Trek, to be honest with you. And yeah, I was going through my attic and I found this and I pulled it out. It's in actually really good shape. Outside of a little bit of crushing on the box actually hasn't received any damage outside of that. But within this box was all kinds of goodies. You get the map and counters and everything you need to play. Of course, here's the map, and it all looks like this. It's just this big space field, open space, and it opens up. I don't recall exactly how big it is, but that gives you an idea. Of course, it's single-sided. Yeah, a little bit of glare going on there. And, of course, I punched out all these counters. And you get Gorn, you get Klingons. I think these are the Klingon ships. Yeah, I got the little name of the counter mix in there. The different ships that they had. These are Gorns? I'm not sure. I think the Gorns are the red on white ships. I don't remember. Romulans, and a lot of generic ships, and space amoeba, debris fields. A little planet there. It's interesting. I didn't really get a chance to play this much back in the day. I had so many things going on. There's Federation ships, of course. The black on the blue background. Federation. And here's some overlays, firing arcs and such that I made for my own use. Like I said, I didn't get a whole lot of a chance and opportunity to play back in the day when I got this, which is unfortunate. And I since got distracted by other things, so I never really had the chance to get into Starfleet Battles. I mean, I played. Read the rules and all that. And I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, lots of details in this game. It is a tactical gamer's dream. Kind of reminds me of ASL in that respect. Not necessarily the detail, but the way it approaches tactical combat. Details. And let's look at the back of the box here. 224-page Captain's Rulebook. Introductory rules included. How to get started. A 24-inch by 20 full-color map. 216 die-cut counters, 48-page SSD book. That's ship system displays. If you're familiar with BattleTech, it's the same kind of thing, very similar kind of display for your ships as they are for mechs in BattleTech, kind of like that. 16-page starter pack of SSDs. 11 by 17-inch card with damage allocation, movement, and energy allocation tables. If you can imagine, like if you're watching the television series, or any of the Starfleet or Star Trek movies, but especially the television series, if you can think back to one of the battles when Kirk and his ship would encounter an enemy Klingon ship, or whatever it is. It could be, like I mentioned, a space amoeba, or space monster. If you can imagine how he was captaining his craft and ordering things like allocate energy here, shields up, shields down, that kind of thing going on. It's the same thing in this game, and it really represents it in a cool way. Basically, you allocate your energy to various parts of your ship, and you could drop your shields, put the shields up, same kind of thing, put in power into the phasers or whatever, and it kind of plays out the same kind of way, and it makes it really enjoyable. And let me pull out the actual rules. This is my old binder. Yeah, this is going back in the day. And here is the big rule book you get, 200 plus pages of rules. Basic game rules, navigation and maneuvering, weapons specifications, system perimeters, starship descriptions, mission assignments, data tables, and annexes. It's all inside of here. And like I said, this is where you get started. This is what you purchase if you want to get into this game. And you can still purchase this. It's just that I have an older version. But thankfully, the Starfleet Battles website, they do have all the errata and stuff like that. So you can update your rulebook to the current version out there, which I think the last was 2012, and that's the main Master Rules book. That would probably be the most current rules. But there is a errata you can get for free, and you can update your rule books. And I've been told that applies even for my, 1995 version? I don't really know what version this is. Second edition, April 1994. So that's the version I have. So I'm definitely going to update this. And the reason is because like so many of the games that I was so fond of back in the day, and of course I tabbed everything, I never got a chance to play them as much as I wanted to. And like I said, I did play this, but not a whole lot. And I have some good memories of doing so. And yeah. And as I was saying before, the way the game plays, you basically control a ship. You can control more than that, a squadron or something. Depends on what you can handle. And much like you would in BattleTech, where you're controlling all the energy and where you put it into your systems and weapons and shields, defenses, heat sinks, and all that, this kind of does the same thing. You can allocate your energy to various sources and resources within your ship to accomplish certain tasks. And here's a ship display right here for a Romulan K5R frigate. And I like these little displays. Again, I'm referring to BattleTech for something similar. A lot of naval games actually are similar to this. And you got boxes that you check as you take damage, and we'll see more of them. And as far as the comparison to ASL, I'm mentioning ASL because of the way ASL has a similar format, the way the rules are written and organized. And as far as completeness, chapters cover certain elements of battle and campaigns in a similar fashion the way ASL does. So it's not necessarily a rule book in the sense of, well, you just sit down for an evening and you have a good read and hey, you know how to play. It's not like that. Just like with ASL, it's more like a reference document. divided up into chapters that you may or may not need for particular games. So when you play a game, you're only going to need certain rules, certain chapters, and certain sections within those chapters. So it seems like a lot of stuff, but it's not actually. It's all dependent on the scenario you're playing. What ships, what factions, and what elements of those weapon systems are actually going to be used for your game. So you really don't need to read the whole thing. It's not like that. More like a reference. And in that sense, it's just like ASL. That said, there is chapters in here on learning the game. So it tells you exactly what you need to read, what chapters and what sections of those chapters you need to read to really learn the flow of the game, the basic mechanics and the turn sequence, and how to read the SSDs and so on. And it does have that, and that's where you get started when you get this boxed set, this system. That's your introduction. So it does include that, and that's the best way to learn. So, yeah. And a lot of the other chapters and rules are pretty much very specialized. They cover very specific elements of the system. And let's jump to the... Players, of course, have these energy allocation forms where they allocate energy to various things, like their shields and their transporters and things like that. Damage control, life support, all those kind of cool things. You can see I have one filled out here. I was having a game from something. I don't know what this is even for, what ship. Warp engine power, impulse engine power, reactor power, total power available, so on and so forth. And I think I printed these out for various ships. Now you get a lot of ships in here, and you photocopy them and put them in an overlay so that you can write on them. Like, for instance, this is the Klingon C8 Dreadnought. You can get a close-up there. And this shows you the kind of detail for this one ship that we're looking at. I believe I printed this out. I'm not sure. But you get all these with the box set, original copies, and you just photocopy as many as you need for a particular battle or scenario. And all the details on this particular ship are here. And you can keep track of your damage and so on and so forth with these boxes, which is a very fun element for me in these types of games. I like crossing off the boxes and so on and so forth as they get damaged or energy is used and so on. I don't know, it's more visual for me. I enjoy that. And there's a lot going on here, as you can see. But that's the nature of this type of game, a detailed game of ship on ship, squadron on squadron, deep space adventure in the Star Trek universe. This is what I like. This is the kind of detail I prefer for this kind of thing. Well, for most of my games, to be honest with you. I like this level of detail. There's some more displays. I think these are the originals. Some more copies that I made. There's a lot in there. And this, of course, let's see. This is the basic set SSD book. We'll come on a little bit. And I believe this is all the ships. And this is the originals that you would copy. And all kinds of stuff in here. Small freighters, small auxiliary carriers, and the Federation Dreadnought. Gorn, small Q ship. That's over on the left here. You can see that. But anyway, all ships have this kind of display. And again, I haven't played in a long time. But from my memory, this is how the game works and what these ship displays are and so on and so forth. A few veterans out there may correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm anticipating getting back into this, and I'm really glad I found this. And I'm glad that it's, relatively the same system that it currently is, with some errata updates. What is this? Battle Station, which is cool. But I've mentioned this many times before. I'm more of a Star Trek dude, really a Star Trek nerd. as compared to like Star Wars, and I've always preferred this. And I've always liked the original series, and don't we all, over the newer stuff. I mean, I was a big fan of some of that stuff, not so much the movies. I thought they were kind of lame, honestly. Khan was good. But I like the series episodes, too. I mean, believe it or not, Deep Space Nine was one of my favorites, even though it just changed the whole thing. I mean, it wasn't about traveling the universe anymore. It was all on this space station, Deep Space Nine, and kind of changed things. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed all that stuff. And this game, Starfleet Battles, is all based on the original series. And that's one of the reasons I like it so much, because this is my favorite. My favorite stories from the Star Trek universe. And yeah, and there's scenarios in this and all that good stuff. So this is a look at it and what you get. And if you get the current boxed set, basic set, the current Captain's Edition, I should say. See, there's a catalog from 1994. Yikes. Star Letter 87, January 1994. God, I thought it almost said 84. But I'm glad the system is still out there. And there's still a Captain's Edition. And I'm excited to get into this. It's just like starting all over, you know? Experiencing it for the first time. For me, anyway, that's what it's like. And I have some friends that are quite fond of this as well. So, yeah, I'll put a link to where you can pick this up or get errata and all that stuff. I'll put a link in the description. And by all means, on Facebook, folks, go ahead and do a search for Starfleet Battles. There's some awesome communities for this game system, specifically Starfleet Battles. Nice communities and groups that you can find on there and check out. I was fortunate enough to find one, really awesome one, and I've been welcomed into that community, and I can't wait to have some meaningful discussions and share my exploits in the Star Trek universe. So there you go, if you want to read that. There you go. Playing time, 1 hour and up, difficulty moderate to complex. Yeah, it could be quite complex if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be, so therefore you get a moderate game. So I'm still impressed how they managed to fit all that in that one box. It's not very thin. It's got like 300 pages of rules all crammed in here. But yeah, and counters and all that good stuff. All right, folks, so there you go. That is Starfleet Battles, the 94 edition. And I hope to put on more videos about this, you know, and let me know your comments about this. And like, share, and subscribe and all that if you enjoy this. And if you want to see Starfleet Battles on the channel, let me know. And one more thing, this game can be played with miniatures. And I'm a big fan of miniatures games as well as my board games. I think you can still purchase those miniatures on the website for this. And I'll have to double check that. I think so, which is kind of cool. And, of course, there's another game out there. I think it was originally put out by Mongoose Publishing. I'm not sure. I think it's still around. I can't remember who publishes it and what the exact name of it is called. But it's basically it's Starfleet Battles, but it's all miniatures. Much more simpler and fast-moving game. And it's for big battles, too, if I remember correctly. I can't think of the name of it. But I'll put that in the description too. Once I remember the name, I'll throw that in the description so you guys can check that out if you prefer a more miniatures-based, fast-moving, and big battle-oriented game. So there you go, folks. Starfleet Battles, Captain's Edition, basic set. Look it up. You can still get this updated, and it's a great system, great community behind this game. It's fantastic fun, and I can't wait to get back to playing this and get behind some of those Klingon ships. All right, folks, you guys take care. Hang in there. It's only going to get better. Take care, folks.